The South Carolina sun scorches Fort Jackson, baking rows of military vehicles into gleaming monuments of steel. The air hums with the shouts of drill instructors, their voices slicing through the heat. A wrench clanks rhythmically against metal, a steady beat in the chaos. Aisha Carter, 28, kneels beside a Humvee, her strong hands buried in its engine. Her faded serpent tattoo, coiled around a compass rose, catches the light on her forearm, a mark of Damballa, the voodoo spirit of protection, etched in her skin years ago. Jazz whispers through her earbuds, a soft melody of Wade in the Water, and a silver necklace, a family heirloom from her grandmother, glints at her throat. Aisha Carter is a shadow in broad daylight. A black woman in a world of soldiers and steel, she's mastered the art of being unseen. But the serpent tells a different story. One of secrets, strength, and a past she's fought to bury. Recruit Rodriguez, 19, fresh from boot camp, leans against a truck, his smirk sharp as a blade. He points at her tattoo, his voice dripping with mockery. "Yo, Carter, what's with the snake? Get that in some back alley shop in the hood. Bet it's got a story. Or was it just a bad night?" Aisha doesn't look up. Her wrench keeps its rhythm, but her jaw tightens, the sting of his words familiar yet raw. She's heard worse, swallowed worse. "It's functional," she says, her voice flat, cutting off further jabs. Keeps the engine running. Recruit Johnson joins in, his laugh edged with cruelty. "Functional? Girl, you're in the wrong place. Black chicks like you belong in a kitchen, not messing with our trucks." Her fingers pause, the words slicing deeper than she'll admit. A memory flashes, sand crunching under her boots, a desert night lit by muzzle flashes. She's in tactical gear, leading a team through shadows, the serpent tattoo fresh, a badge of her initiation into Vanguard, a covert unit that never officially existed. Gunfire echoes in her mind, sharp and relentless. They don't know her. Not the real Aisha Carter. She moved through darkness in places most can't name, leading missions that live only in classified shadows. Only 6 survived. She's one of them. Sergeant Evans, 40, stern but fair, strides over, boots kicking up dust. His voice cuts through the laughter like a whip. "Rodriguez, Johnson, focus on your jobs, not Carter's Inc. She's worth 10 of you combined. Maybe learn something instead of running your mouths." The recruits scatter, their smirks lingering. Aisha meets Evans's eyes briefly, a flicker of gratitude passing between them before she dives back into the engine. Evans watches her, noting the precision in her movements, too sharp, too controlled for a mere mechanic. He tucks the thought away, unconvinced she's just a grease monkey. For 2 years, Aisha has hidden in plain sight, trading covert ops for oil stains. The serpent tattoo is both shield and scar, a reminder of a life she left behind. But some truths refuse to stay buried. The motor pool hums with tension as Colonel Marcus Kane, 52, arrives for inspection. His lean frame and weathered face carry the weight of decades in shadowed operations. His gray hair is regulation cut, but his eyes betray a watchfulness beyond his rank. An entourage trails him, clipboards in hand. Aisha works on, her focus unbroken, the jazz now a faint hum in her ears. Tanya Reed, 20, a black rookie with eager eyes, hovers nearby, watching Aisha with quiet admiration. Tanya adjusts her uniform, nervous but determined to prove herself in this male-dominated world. "Miss Carter," Tanya says softly, "how do you stay so calm? They're always talking like that." Aisha glances at her, her expression softening. She wipes sweat from her brow, leaving a grease streak. "You get used to it, Tanya. Keep your head down, do the work. Results shut them up." Tanya nods, clutching a wrench like a lifeline. Aisha's necklace catches the light, a silver serpent charm, a gift from her grandmother who told stories of Damballa, the spirit of wisdom and protection. Colonel Kane moves through the motor pool, his questions sharp, revealing a deep knowledge of logistics. He stops at Aisha's station, where she wrestles a stubborn transmission bolt. Her tattoo glows under the fluorescent lights. "Who's this, Sergeant?" Kane asks Evans, his tone casual. "Carter, sir. Best mechanic we've got. Instinct for engines I've never seen matched." Kane's eyes lock onto the tattoo. His face pales, a subtle shift that sends a chill through the air. The motor pool feels heavier, as if secrets have thickened the atmosphere. Kane steps closer, his movements slow, deliberate, like a predator assessing its mark. "Carter," he says, his voice low, measured, "step out from under there a moment." Aisha sets her wrench down, sliding out from beneath the Humvee with military precision. She stands at attention, her eyes meeting Kane's for a fleeting second before shifting to the regulation point above his shoulder. That brief glance is enough. Kane's expression betrays recognition, a ghost from a buried past. In that moment, the serpent stirs. Aisha feels it, the pull of a life she thought she'd escaped. The tattoo isn't just ink, it's a mark of Vanguard. A brotherhood forged where maps ended and survival was counted in heartbeats. Kane removes his jacket with deliberate slowness, rolling up his sleeve to reveal an identical serpent tattoo on his shoulder, coiling around a compass rose. The motor pool falls silent, the recruits' chatter drowned by the distant hum of the base. Evans' jaw tightens, sensing something beyond his clearance. "She's not logistics," Kane whispers to Evans, his eyes fixed on Aisha. "She's Vanguard, only 6 of us made it out alive." The words hang like smoke from a distant fire, their weight lost on the recruits but sinking deep into Aisha's chest. Her heart races, but her face remains a mask of calm, a skill honed where a single misstep meant death. The past isn't dead, it's hunting her. The serpent tattoo, mocked by those who see only a black woman in a mechanic's uniform, is a signal to those who know its truth. And Colonel Kane knows far more than he's saying. "Carter," Kane says, his voice firm, "Building 47, 30 minutes. Come alone. Don't mention this to anyone." Aisha nods, her composure unshaken but her mind reeling. Tanya watches, wide-eyed, sensing the gravity but not grasping it. Evans clears his throat, breaking the silence. "You heard the colonel? Back to work, everyone. Keep this quiet." The recruits disperse, casting curious glances. Aisha picks up her tools, her movements mechanical, her thoughts elsewhere. The jazz fades, replaced by the echo of gunfire from a memory she's tried to forget. Aisha Carter, the mechanic, is about to become the warrior she buried. But who's hunting her, and what does this tattoo truly mean? The serpent is waking, and the shadows are closing in. Who is Aisha Carter really? Hit subscribe to uncover her secrets and comment below. What do you think her tattoo means? Where are you listening from? The air in Fort Jackson hums with the rhythm of a military base. Drill instructors barking orders, engines rumbling in the distance, the faint buzz of a radio playing jazz. Aisha Carter moves through the base, her steps measured, her silver serpent necklace glinting under the South Carolina sun. Her faded Damballa tattoo, a serpent coiled around a compass, feels heavier now, as if it's pulling her back to a life she buried. 30 minutes ago, Colonel Marcus Kane's words. "She's Vanguard. Only 6 of us made it out alive," shattered the fragile anonymity she'd built as a mechanic. Now, she heads to Building 47, a nondescript structure tucked in a quiet corner of the base, its plain exterior hiding secrets only a few are cleared to know. Aisha Carter walks toward her past, each step a battle between the woman she is and the warrior she was. The serpent tattoo, mocked by recruits who see only a black woman in a grease-stained uniform, is a mark of something far greater, a truth she's fought to forget. Inside Building 47, the air is cool, sterile. Aisha steps into a small conference room on the 2nd floor, its walls lined with anti-surveillance panels that hum faintly, blocking any prying ears. No windows, just harsh fluorescent light casting long shadows. Colonel Marcus Kane waits at a steel table, his weathered face unreadable, his identical serpent tattoo hidden beneath a civilian shirt. He gestures to a chair, and Aisha sits, her posture rigid, her hands steady despite the storm in her chest. "You thought you could hide forever, Carter," Kane says, his voice low, carrying the weight of shared scars. "But Vanguard never lets you go." Aisha's eyes narrow, her voice steady but edged with defiance. "I left that life, sir. 2 years ago, I walked away. I'm just a mechanic now." Kane leans forward, his gaze piercing. "You were never just anything. You were Vanguard, one of the best. And someone out there knows it. They're hunting us, Aisha. The 6 who survived." Her breath catches, but she keeps her face a mask. A memory surges. Smoke choking the air, gunfire rattling through a mountain pass, the weight of a wounded teammate on her shoulders. Vanguard, an unofficial special ops unit, operated in shadows where no official record dared to tread. Their final mission went wrong. Horribly wrong. 3 teammates died, betrayed by an ally who vanished into the night. Only 6 made it out, scattered to new lives, their existence erased from military files. "I'm done with that world," Aisha says, her voice firm but trembling at the edges. "They told me to disappear. I did. Kane slides a sealed envelope across the table, its surface marked with a classified stamp that doesn't officially exist. Open it, and you're back in. Refuse, and you're still a target. They know who you are, Carter. They've been watching. Aisha stares at the envelope, her fingers hovering but not touching it. Her mind flashes to Tanya Reed, the young black rookie who watched her with wide-eyed admiration in the motor pool. Tanya, barely 20, eager to prove herself in a world quick to dismiss her. Aisha taught her to tighten a bolt today. Saw the spark of defiance in her eyes. The same spark Aisha once had. The thought of Tanya caught in her past's crosshairs twists her gut. I'm not the only one they're watching, am I? Aisha asks, her voice barely above a whisper. Kane's eyes darken. Your rookie, Tanya Reed. She was photographed outside the motor pool this morning. Whoever's hunting us knows she's connected to you. Aisha's heart lurches, her calm cracking. Tanya's got nothing to do with this. She's just a kid. Then keep her safe, Kane says. But you can't do that by hiding. You know what we were, what you still are. Another memory hits. A briefing room, years ago, lit by dim red light. A Vanguard officer, his voice dripping with doubt, sizes her up. A black woman leading this op? You sure you can handle it, Carter? She proved him wrong that night, hacking enemy comms with precision, guiding her team through hell. But the betrayal came later. A knife in the dark from someone they trusted. The serpent tattoo, etched in a makeshift parlor after that mission, was a vow to never forget and never trust again. Why me? Aisha asks, her voice raw. Why now? Kane leans back, his expression grim. Someone's asking questions about Vanguard, about missions that never happened, about people who don't exist. They've got resources, tech, maybe even an inside man. Harper's at Fort Bragg, Jackson's in Germany. Both are compromised. You're next. Aisha's fingers brush the necklace, the silver serpent warm against her skin. Her grandmother's voice echoes in her mind. Damballa protects, child. The serpent carries your strength, your ancestors' strength. She wants to believe it, but the weight of her past feels like a chain, not a shield. I chose this life, Aisha says, gesturing to her grease-stained hands. Fixing trucks, staying out of trouble. It's honest, it's safe. Kane's voice softens, but his words cut deep. Safe? You're a ghost, Carter, living a lie. You think you can outrun who you are? That tattoo says otherwise. The room falls silent, the hum of anti-surveillance tech the only sound. Aisha's eyes drop to her tattoo. The serpent's coils faded but unyielding. She sees Tanya's face again. The rookie's nervous grip on a wrench, her quiet defiance against the same taunts Aisha endured. If Tanya's in danger because of her, hiding isn't an option. She reaches for the envelope, her fingers steady now. What's the mission? Kane's eyes flicker with something like relief, but his voice stays hard. Not here. We'll reconvene tonight, secure channels only. Until then, act normal. They're watching you, and Tanya. Aisha nods, slipping the envelope into her pocket. She stands, her movements precise, military training resurfacing like muscle memory. As she leaves Building 47, the jazz in her earbuds feels distant, drowned by the echo of that final mission, smoke, screams, and the sting of betrayal. Back in the motor pool, Tanya approaches, her eyes bright but wary. Miss Carter, you okay? You look different. Aisha forces a smile, her hand brushing Tanya's shoulder. Just keep working, Tanya. Stay sharp, and stay close. Tanya nods, but her gaze lingers, sensing the shift in Aisha. The motor pool hums on, oblivious to the storm brewing. Aisha's eyes scan the horizon, catching a glimpse of a figure in a dark jacket, phone in hand, watching from a distance. Her pulse quickens. The serpent tattoo burns under her sleeve, a reminder that her past is no longer buried. It's awake, and it's closing in. Why is Tanya targeted? Who's lurking in the shadows, and what do they want with Vanguard's ghosts? The serpent is stirring, and Aisha Carter's fight is just beginning. Hit subscribe to follow Aisha's journey and comment below. Who do you think is watching Tanya? Where are you listening from? The Fort Jackson motor pool hums under the relentless South Carolina sun, a symphony of clanking tools and roaring engines. Aisha Carter kneels beside a Humvee, her hand steady despite the weight of the classified envelope tucked in her pocket. The serpent tattoo on her forearm, a faded Damballa coiling around a compass, feels alive, pulsing with the past she can no longer outrun. Her earbuds hum with soft jazz, a Nina Simone melody weaving through her thoughts. But her eyes are sharp, scanning the horizon for threats. The silver serpent necklace at her throat, a gift from her grandmother, grounds her as she steps back into a world she swore to leave behind. Aisha Carter is no longer just a mechanic. The shadows of Vanguard are calling, and the serpent is ready to strike. Tanya Reed, the young black rookie, hovers nearby, her wrench clutched tightly. Her eyes, bright with admiration, betray a flicker of fear after the morning's tension in the motor pool. Aisha catches her gaze, remembering their earlier talk, how Tanya's defiance mirrors her own at that age, fighting to prove herself in a world quick to dismiss black women. "Tanya," Aisha says, her voice low but firm, "don't let their words get to you. You're here because you're good, better than they'll ever admit." Tanya nods, her shoulders squaring. "It's hard, Miss Carter. They look at me like I don't belong, like I'm less." Aisha's hand brushes her necklace, the serpent charm warm against her skin. Her grandmother's voice echoes, "Damballa protects, child. You carry our strength." She kneels beside Tanya, pointing to a loose bolt. "Focus on the work. Every turn of this wrench proves them wrong. You're not less, you're more." Tanya smiles, tentative but determined, and tightens the bolt with care. Aisha watches, a pang of protectiveness tightening her chest. Tanya's in danger because of her, watched by unseen eyes for reasons Aisha doesn't yet understand. The envelope from Colonel Marcus Kane burns in her pocket, its contents a door she's not sure she wants to open. A memory crashes in, a dimly lit Vanguard briefing room, years ago. A senior officer, his voice cold, sizes her up. "You're not qualified to lead, Carter? A black woman running point? That's a risk we can't take." She proved him wrong, hacking enemy comms with precision, guiding her team through a firefight. But the betrayal came later, a knife in the dark from an ally, leaving 3 teammates dead and Vanguard shattered. The serpent tattoo inked that night was a vow to survive and a scar of failure. Back in the motor pool, Sergeant Evans approaches, his stern face softened by curiosity. "Carter, you're needed at admin. Something about maintenance protocols, Colonel's orders." Aisha nods, catching the coded message. Evans' eyes linger, his earlier doubts about a black woman's place in the motor pool fading as he notes her calm efficiency. He's starting to see her, but not the full truth. Not yet. She moves through the base, her steps purposeful but alert, the jazz fading in her earbuds. As she passes the mess hall, a figure catches her eye. A man in a dark jacket, his posture too rigid, too military for a civilian contractor. He holds a phone, his eyes cold, tracking her from a distance. Aisha's pulse quickens, her Vanguard training kicking in. She notes his position, the exits, the cover points. He doesn't follow, but his gaze burns into her back as she walks away. The serpent stirs. Someone's watching, and they're closer than she thought. In Building 47, Aisha enters the same secure conference room, its anti-surveillance panels humming softly. Kane waits, his weathered face grim, a laptop glowing with encrypted data. He gestures to a chair, and Aisha sits, the envelope still unopened in her hand. "You've made your choice, Carter," Kane says, his voice steady but urgent. "Open it. The mission's live." Aisha hesitates, her fingers tracing the envelope's seal. Her grandmother's words echo again. "The serpent carries your strength." She whispers a brief prayer, a nod to her ancestors, and tears the envelope open. Inside are classified files, profiles of Vanguard survivors, mission logs that don't exist, and a single line, "Threat level critical. Hostile teams active." Kane's voice cuts through her thoughts. "Harper's at Fort Bragg working intel analysis. Jackson's in Germany, logistics. Both are compromised, surveilled, just like you. Someone's hunting Vanguard's ghosts, and they know too much." Aisha's mind races, piecing together the threat. Who are they? Foreign agents? Our own people? Kane's eyes darken. "We don't know yet. Private organization, maybe. High-tech, drones, encrypted comms, data mining. They've got details on our missions, our tactics, things only an insider would know." Aisha's grip tightens on the envelope. The stranger in the dark jacket flashes in her mind. "I saw someone today, outside the mess hall, military posture, watching me." Kane leans forward, his voice sharp. "You're sure?" She nods. "He wasn't alone. I felt it." Kane taps the laptop, pulling up a secure comms interface. "We're activating a channel to Harper and Jackson. You'll lead the link-up. They need to know you're in." Aisha's breath catches. "Lead again? After the betrayal, the blood, the bodies she couldn't save?" Another memory hits. A desert canyon, her team pinned down, her cyber warfare skills jamming enemy signals to buy them seconds. But seconds weren't enough. The traitor's face is a blur, but the pain is crystal clear. "I'm not ready," she says, her voice low. "I failed them last time." Kane's gaze softens, but his words are steel. "You didn't fail, Carter. You survived, and now Tanya needs you. Harper and Jackson need you. That stranger you saw? He's not here for a social call." Aisha's eyes drop to her tattoo, the serpent's coils a reminder of her vow. She thinks of Tanya, her eager eyes, her wrench held like a shield. If Aisha runs, Tanya pays the price. She activates the comms gear, a small device with encrypted signal protocols, its green light pulsing like a heartbeat. Her fingers move with practiced precision, the ghost of her Vanguard training taking over. "Channels live," she says, her voice steady now. "Harper, Jackson, this is Carter. Report in." Static crackles. Then Harper's voice, cool and analytical, cuts through. "Carter, you're alive? Thought you were a ghost." Jackson's voice follows, gruff and skeptical. "What's this, Kane? Dragging us back into the fire?" Kane's eyes lock on Aisha. "Tell them, Carter. They need to hear it from you." Aisha takes a breath, her grandmother's words steadying her. "We're being hunted. All of us. Someone knows about Vanguard, our missions, our names. They're coming for us, and they're already here." The line goes silent, the weight of her words sinking in. Aisha's eyes flick to the door, half expecting the stranger in the dark jacket to burst through. The serpent tattoo burns under her sleeve, a signal that her old life is no longer optional. Who is this stranger, and can Aisha protect her team? The shadows are closing in, and the fight is just beginning. Hit subscribe to follow Aisha's mission, and comment below. Who do you think the Watcher is? Where are you listening from? The Fort Jackson dusk settles like a heavy curtain, the sky bruised purple over the motor pool's silent rows of vehicles. Aisha Carter moves through the base, her steps quick but silent, her serpent tattoo, a dumbala coiled around a compass, hidden beneath her sleeve but alive with purpose. Her silver necklace, a family heirloom, swings softly, a tether to her grandmother's strength. The jazz in her earbuds is gone, replaced by the faint crackle of a secure comms channel linking her to Vanguard's ghosts. The stranger she spotted earlier, with his military stance and cold eyes, lingers in her mind, a warning that the shadows are closing in. Aisha Carter is no longer a mechanic hiding from her past. The serpent is awake, but to face the enemy, she must first unite a fractured team. In a secure bunker beneath Fort Jackson, Aisha huddles around a tactical display with Harper and Jackson, their voices crackling through encrypted comms. Harper, the intelligence analyst at Fort Bragg, appears on a screen, her face sharp and emotionless, her fingers tapping data points with clinical precision. Jackson, stationed in Germany, leans into his camera, his gruff voice thick with skepticism. Sergeant Evans stands at the bunker's edge, his arms crossed, his earlier doubts about Aisha softening but not gone. Tanya Reed, the young black rookie, lingers nearby, clutching a tablet with motor pool logs, her eyes wide but determined. Harper's voice cuts through the static. "I've tracked their signals, encrypted, high-grade, not government. This is a private outfit, mercenaries with deep pockets. They're using drones, data mining, the works, and they know Vanguard's moves too well." Aisha's gut twists. Her mind flashes to a Vanguard mission years ago, a desert compound lit by explosions. She'd hacked enemy signals, guiding her team through chaos, but Jackson had questioned her every step. "A black woman running point? You're out of your depth, Carter," he'd said, his voice dripping with doubt. She proved him wrong, but the mission ended in betrayal, 3 teammates dead. The serpent tattoo, inked in the aftermath, was a vow to never let doubt break her again. "How do they know our tactics?" Aisha asks, her voice steady despite the memory. "This feels personal." Jackson snorts, his image flickering on the screen. "Personal? Maybe if you hadn't let us into that mess last time, Carter, we wouldn't be targets now." The words sting, sharp and raw. Aisha's eyes lock onto his, her voice low but unyielding. "I got you out alive, Jackson. You're welcome. Now focus, or we're all dead." Harper raises an eyebrow, a flicker of respect breaking her cold facade. Evans shifts, his skepticism wavering as he watches Aisha take command. Tanya steps forward, her voice trembling but firm. "Miss Carter, I found something in the motor pool logs. Someone's been pinging our vehicle trackers. Someone inside the base." Aisha's heart lurches. A traitor. The stranger in the dark jacket flashes in her mind, his phone a potential link to the enemy. "Good work, Tanya," she says, her tone soft but urgent. Send me the data. Stay close and stay safe. Tanya nods, her fingers flying over the tablet, her admiration for Aisha outweighing her fear. Aisha's necklace catches the light, the silver serpent a reminder of her grandmother's words. Damballa protects, child. You carry our strength. She needs that strength now, with a traitor lurking and an attack looming. Harper pulls up a new data stream, her voice sharp. I've got a hit. Their signals are converging on Fort Jackson Armory tonight. They're planning a strike and they know our defenses. Aisha's mind races, her Vanguard training kicking in. She activates her cyber warfare kit, its screen glowing with intercepted enemy signals. I can jam their comms, slow them down. Harper, map their drone paths. Jackson, get us transport, something fast, armored. Jackson hesitates, his jaw tight. You sure you can lead this, Carter? Last time I saved your life. Aisha cuts in, her voice steel. Trust me, or we lose everything. Jackson's eyes narrow, but he nods, his reluctance giving way. Fine, I'm in. Evans steps closer, his voice gruff but earnest. Carter, you've got my support, whatever you need. Aisha nods, her chest tightening with the weight of their trust. She turns to Tanya, who's still clutching the tablet. You're with me, Tanya. Your intel's our edge. Can you handle it? Tanya's eyes shine with determination. Yes, ma'am. I won't let you down. The team disperses, Aisha leading them to prepared defenses. She sets up a cyber trap, rigging the armory's security systems to detect enemy drones. Her fingers move with precision, hacking into their signals, a skill honed in Vanguard's darkest missions. But another memory hits. A teammate's voice, desperate in that final mission. Carter, they knew our plan. Someone sold us out. The traitor's face is a blur, but the pain is sharp, a wound the serpent tattoo can't heal. As night falls, Aisha patrols the base, her eyes scanning for the stranger. She spots him again, near the armory, his dark jacket blending into the shadows. He's on his phone, his movements too precise, too military. Aisha's pulse quickens, her hand brushing her necklace for strength. She whispers a prayer to her ancestors, the serpent's power steadying her. The bunker's tactical display beeps, a new signal. Harper's voice crackles through. Carter, they're moving now. Drones inbound, ground team closing, and their comms mention Vanguard by name. Someone inside's talking. Aisha's blood runs cold. The traitor is here, on the base, feeding the enemy every move. She looks at Tanya, her young mentee's face etched with fear but resolve. Aisha's vow to protect, to lead, to survive burns brighter than ever. Can Aisha unite her team before the attack strikes? Who's the traitor, and how do they know Vanguard's secrets? The serpent is coiled, ready to strike, but the shadows are deeper than she feared. Hit subscribe to uncover the enemy's next move, and comment below. What will Aisha do to convince Jackson and stop the attack? Where are you listening from? The Fort Jackson night crackles with tension, the air thick with the hum of distant generators and the faint buzz of enemy drones circling above. Aisha Carter crouches on a rooftop overlooking the armory, her sniper rifle steady, her cyber warfare kit glowing with intercepted signals. Her serpent tattoo, the Damballa coiled around a compass, pulses beneath her sleeve, a vow of protection forged in blood. Her silver necklace, a family heirloom, rests warm against her chest, anchoring her to her grandmother's strength. The jazz in her earbuds is gone, replaced by the urgent voices of her Vanguard teammates, Harper and Jackson, coordinating a desperate defense against mercenaries closing in on the base. Aisha Carter is no longer a shadow. The serpent is awake, but this fight will test every ounce of her resolve, and the cost may break her. In the secure bunker earlier, Aisha had faced her team. Harper, the cold-eyed analyst, Jackson, the gruff logistics expert, and Sergeant Evans, his doubts about her fading into respect. Tanya Reed, the young black rookie, had delivered critical intel from the motor pool, her hands trembling but her voice steady. The enemy, a private organization with high-tech mercenaries, knew Vanguard's tactics too well, their signals betraying an insider's touch. Aisha's gut screamed traitor, echoing the betrayal that shattered Vanguard years ago. We've got hours, not days, Aisha had said, her voice firm. They're hitting the armory tonight. We stop them, or Fort Jackson falls. Jackson's eyes had narrowed, his old prejudice flaring. You sure you can lead this, Carter? A black woman calling shots got us burned last time. Aisha had met his gaze, unflinching. I saved your life last time, Jackson. Trust me now or we're all dead. Harper had nodded. her approval silent but clear. Evans had stepped forward, his voice gruff. "You've got my backing, Carter." Tanya, clutching her tablet, had looked at Aisha with unwavering trust, a mirror of the defiance Aisha once carried. Now, on the rooftop, Aisha's scope tracks the armory's perimeter. Her cyber kit hums, jamming enemy drone signals, sending them wobbling in the sky. A memory crashes in. A desert night, Vanguard pinned down in a canyon, her fingers flying over a hacked comms panel to block enemy chatter. She'd saved her team, but a traitor's tip had cost 3 lives. The serpent tattoo inked in the aftermath was a vow to never fail again. Her comms crackle. Harper's voice, sharp and urgent, cuts through. "Carter, ground team's moving in, black-clad, armed heavy. They're targeting the armory's east gate." "Copy," Aisha replies, her voice steady. "Jackson, you got transport?" "Armored trucks ready," Jackson grunts. "Don't screw this up, Carter." Aisha ignores the jab, her focus razor sharp. She adjusts her scope, calculating wind speed, 5 knots southwest. Her grandmother's words echo, "Damballa protects, not destroys." She whispers a prayer to her ancestors, the silver serpent necklace warm against her skin, and takes aim. The attack hits fast. Mercenaries breach the east gate, their silenced rifles spitting rounds. Aisha's first shot drops a sniper 500 meters out, a clean hit through the scope. Her cyber kit scrambles their comms, sowing chaos, but a new alert flashes on her screen. Tanya's tracker, linked to a motor pool vehicle, is moving fast, off base. "They've got Tanya," Aisha says, her voice tight with fear. Her mind flashes to that final Vanguard mission, the screams of teammates she couldn't save. Not again. Not Tanya. She turns to Harper through the comms. "Hold the armory. I'm going after her." Jackson's voice cuts in, urgent. "Carter, it's a trap. You can't go alone." "Then cover me," she snaps, slinging her rifle and sprinting down the rooftop stairs. Her cyber kit tracks Tanya's signal to an abandoned lot on the base's edge. The memory hits harder, dragging a wounded teammate through a canyon, bullets tearing past, knowing she'd lose them. She won't lose Tanya. In the lot, Aisha spots the vehicle. Tanya bound in the back, a mercenary looming over her with a blade. Aisha takes position behind a rusted crate, her scope locking on. The wind whistles, and she adjusts for a 300-meter shot. Her first round drops the mercenary, but drones overhead zero in, their red lasers cutting the dark. Aisha's fingers fly over her cyber kit, hacking the drone's signals. One crashes into another, sparks lighting the night. She sprints to Tanya, cutting her free with a knife. Tanya's eyes, wide with fear, meet Aisha's, and gratitude floods them. "You came for me," Tanya whispers, her voice shaking. "Always," Aisha says, pulling her to cover. "You're one of us now." They race back to the armory, where Harper and Jackson fend off the remaining mercenaries. Aisha's cyber kit disrupts their final push, sending their comms into static. Her sniper shots take out their leaders, precise and lethal. The attack collapses, the surviving mercenaries fleeing into the night. Back in the bunker, the team regroups, their faces etched with exhaustion and relief. Evans approaches Aisha, his stern demeanor softened. "I was wrong, Carter. You're no mechanic. You're a warrior." Jackson steps forward, his earlier prejudice gone. "You led us through hell tonight. I owe you." Aisha's chest tightens, their trust a weight she's carried before but never felt so heavy. Tanya stands beside her, safe but shaken, her wrench still clutched like a talisman. Aisha's hand urges the ember. The Fort Jackson dawn breaks softly, painting the motor pool in hues of gold and shadow. Aisha Carter stands in the quiet, her boots planted on familiar ground, the hum of the bass a distant heartbeat. Her serpent tattoo, the Damballa coiled around a compass, glows faintly under her sleeve, a symbol of survival, etched in pain and promise. Her silver necklace, a family heirloom, rests warm against her chest, carrying her grandmother's wisdom. The jazz she loves is silent now, but her heart hums with a new rhythm, one forged in the fire of last night's battle. She saved Tanya, stopped the mercenaries, and held the line. But the traitor, the one who's been feeding Vanguard's secrets, remains, and Aisha knows this fight isn't over. Aisha Carter is no longer a ghost. The serpent has struck, but the final battle will test her heart, not her aim. In the secure bunker, Aisha faces her team, Harper, the sharp-eyed analyst, Jackson, the gruff logistician, and Sergeant Evans, his respect for her now unshakable. Tanya Reed stands close, her wrench clutched like a badge of courage, her eyes bright with trust. The tactical display flickers, revealing a chilling truth. The mercenaries' signals trace back to a senior officer on the base, Colonel Richard Holt, a man who sat in Vanguard's briefing rooms years ago. Holt, whose betrayal in that final mission cost 3 lives, whose whispers to the enemy have hunted Aisha's team across continents. Harper's voice is cold, her fingers pausing on her laptop. Holt's been feeding them everything, our tactics, our locations. He's here, in Building 47, right now. Jackson's fists clench, his voice a growl. That bastard sold us out then, and he's doing it again. We end this, Carter. Aisha's mind flashes to that desert night, the memory raw, gunfire tearing through the canyon, her teammates' blood on her hands, Holt's voice on the radio, calm and traitorous, directing the enemy to their position. The serpent tattoo, inked in a makeshift parlor, was her vow to survive his betrayal. Now it burns, urging her forward. She leads the team to Building 47, the secure meeting room where Holt waits, unaware of their discovery. The air hums with anti-surveillance tech, signal scanners blinking in the dim light. Holt stands at the head of a steel table, his uniform crisp, his face a mask of authority. But Aisha sees the truth in his eyes, a flicker of guilt, a shadow of the man who left her team to die. "Colonel Holt," Aisha says, her voice steady, cutting through the silence. "You sold us out, then and now. Why?" Holt's composure cracks, his hand twitching toward his sidearm. The team tenses. Harper's hand on her knife, Jackson's fists ready, Evans blocking the door. Tanya steps closer to Aisha, her breath shallow but her stance firm. "You don't understand, Carter," Holt says, his voice low, defensive. "Vanguard was a liability. Too many secrets, too much power. They paid me to clean it up, starting with you." Aisha's heart pounds, rage and pain colliding. She sees her fallen teammates' faces, hears their screams. Her hand brushes her necklace, her grandmother's voice echoing, "Damballa protects, not destroys." She wants to end Holt, to let the serpent strike. But another memory surfaces, her grandmother's hands, weathered and kind, teaching her to mend, not break. "You took everything," Aisha says, her voice raw. "My team, my trust. But I'm not you. I won't let hate win." She steps closer, unarmed, her eyes locked on Holt's. "You're done. Confess or we expose you. Your choice." Holt's shoulders slump, the fight draining from him. He nods, defeated, as Evans cuffs him. The team exhales, the tension breaking like a wave. Jackson meets Aisha's gaze, his earlier doubts replaced by respect. "You didn't have to let him live, Carter, but I get why you did." Harper's voice is soft, a rare warmth in it. "You're stronger than I thought." Tanya's eyes shine, her voice trembling with awe. "You saved us, Miss Carter. All of us." Aisha's chest tightens, their trust a balm to wounds she's carried too long. She leads them out of Building 47, the dawn light washing over them. In the motor pool, she kneels beside a Humvee. Tanya at her side, their wrenches moving in sync. Aisha's tattoo catches the light, the Damballa no longer a scar, but a symbol of rebirth. Her past isn't a burden, it's her strength, woven with her ancestors' resilience. She thinks of her grandmother, her stories of Damballa, the serpent who guards and heals. Aisha's prayer, whispered before every mission, carries new meaning. Protect us, guide us, make us whole. She looks at Tanya, the young woman who's become her mirror, her legacy. "Keep going, Tanya," Aisha says, her voice soft but fierce. They